Hello and welcome back to AJM Learn. Today, I'm going to show you how to have an opaque, like fully solid header at the top of your page. And then as you scroll, let it flip to slightly transparent. Obviously, we don't have that applied yet. So I'll show you how to do it. It's a little tricky. This one took me a second to figure out. Okay, let's get into it. Remember, we post videos every week if you like our stuff. All right, so on the back end of your site, you'll first need to set up your header a specific way. So go into edit your site header, edit design. Under the design tab, only two things need to happen. Make sure you have fixed position toggled on, and also the fixed header style should be basic. That keeps it there the whole time as you scroll. Now over in the color tab is where we need to get a little more specific. So make sure you've chosen solid and then make sure you're on the color tab instead of the theme tab. Under background color, set this as the background color that you want. So we're starting with white right here. I'll flip it to black at the end of the video and show you how to change the CSS and this to make it work. So for now, background color, I want mine to be white. You can choose any of your brand colors, whatever you want. The number one thing you have to make sure here, and I have no clue why it's this way, I've played around with it, I really don't know, is this transparency option needs to be fully opaque. So do not adjust the transparency there. The code just won't work. It's something about it's just not selecting this somehow. Anyway, and then change your navigation color, of course, as needed. So where you actually do want to adjust your opacity is this toggle. So change this to approximately what you want the opacity to be on scroll. Sometimes, by the way, as you can see, when you're editing, it like doesn't respond, which is annoying. Sometimes you really do have to like refresh the page. I usually set it somewhere around like 70%. But again, this is where you want the opacity to fall on scroll. So we're going to put some CSS in place to make this stay solid at the top, change on scroll. And then blur background, that's up to you. It works either way. All right, so let's get out of here. And you can see after it kind of refreshed, that opacity has set in. So it has this like 70% opacity everywhere, which I don't want. I want it to be solid at the top. So paste in the CSS. It's in both the video description and in the original post. And you can see now, by the way, sometimes again, you do need to refresh the page, but it seems to be taking now. So essentially what's happening is it's saying, okay, at the top, we want this to be solid. So this is our, white RGB and then a solid one. So at the top, we want this to be solid. We have a little transition here to make it kind of a smooth fade. And then we're saying as we scroll, essentially, we want this to fade to this opacity. Again, I'm not really sure why we have to set the opacity in both places. I'm not really sure even how I stumbled upon this weird hack, but you can adjust the opacity here. I find it easier than like playing around with the other. So I kind of adjust the opacity here. So again, go in full screen, solid at the top, transparent as you scroll. Now, let me show you how to switch everything if you wanted, let's say, your header to be black. You do need to switch it both in the CSS and in your header settings. So let's start here. Since we're here, let's change the RGB to be black. For this, I'm going to make the opacity slightly lower just so we can see it. You're going to notice as I do this, it's going to look a little funky. Essentially what it's doing is it's kind of adding like a black overlay over the white we've set. It's very strange. Go back into your site header after you've done that, back to color, flip them around. So make the background black. You'll need your navigation to be white, whatever. And then you can kind of keep the opacity here. And let's see, you can see it does get transparent on scroll. Sometimes you want to make it much lighter if it's a dark color like black. So we start with black at the top. And as you scroll, we have that opacity. So a little tedious. You have to change it in both places, but somehow, some way it works. So hope you enjoy.